Okay guys, part 2, viewer questions, same crew as before, with also a mystery man asking the questions. Shoot, mystery man.
Hi guys, this is Drew here. So first of all, from Twitter, Daniel, I've noticed you talk about a lot of data, 5 lengths slower, etc. How important do you think this is compared to watching replays? For example, seeing a horse flying home in a slowly run race versus saying it ran last 600 at 33 seconds. What do you think about that?
There's a few parts to that question, sort of.
I'll go first.
I think replay. Oh, you go.
I don't know what a fast time for the last 600 is. I don't know if it's 33 seconds or what you just said, or 48.
It depends on the distance, doesn't it?
I care about ranking it versus the day. And then if it's good versus the day and it's good versus the class on puntingform.com.au, it says like, so you can go versus maiden. There's a grade for maidens, so you can tell if it's a fast or slow maiden. And then if it closed well versus the day, then I'll go watch a replay.
Yep.
If it doesn't close well versus the day or have good benchmark around punting form, I don't waste my time. Unless I've got heaps of it, which at the moment I don't. And I'm probably going to have less soon when a little fella drops.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I sort of gloss over at the starter when I bet and look for funny number patterns in races and stuff like that to try and look for stuff that sort of sticks out, and then I sort of dig deeper and start to go then into the benchmarks for the class, and then back to like all benchmarks, and then go in for the day, and then if I'm still horned up about it, I'll go watch the replay. But sometimes there's a lot of horses that I go and watch the replay and I shouldn't have watched the replay, and like, for whatever reason, like it turns me off the horse, and I should have just not seen the replay, which is I've found. So
what do you mean by that? So you go back and see that the horse is given every possible, so you're harder on it.
Yeah, and then I'll jump off it, but then its figures are still strong enough to put away that field in its next start, and so like sometimes it's a bit tricky.
I try and see if a horse was like has good numbers and it wasn't suited, and then I'll say not suited, and then I'll do the next race. I reckon it's going to be suited here, and it closed real good the other day, and the class was okay. $5, it's a good bet, sort of thing.
I think you just need like as much information as possible. That's sort of why I like punting form. You put your own spin on it. It's all just there. It's so neat, and I just think that's the big thing that racing sort of not really capitalised on. People just, the more information, more data, more analysis, and the more tools that you get to bet, that's what punters are crying out for. You can see it work in Hong Kong where you know everything, their weights, what they did at track work. If they fart, it's sort of written down somewhere in their data. So you just need information overload and let the punters make the best or worst of it from there. But
yeah, I use as much as I can. I'm sort of when I rate a horse or a race, I use it's a wholesome rating. It takes in all the different factors. First thing I look at is the bias of the day. The pool of horses I bet into, I know really well, so I sort of know their capabilities. Sectionals have a lot to do with the tempo of the races. And they can, with the publicly accessible these days and great sites like punting form, they can be, it's another edge that can be overplayed a bit. So I just like a good wholesome, I'll say if the horses run a good last 600, I'll say that, but it was run to suit. But if it's done it against the bias, against the pattern of the day, like we saw a horse yesterday for Sandown called Convict Sam. Now he was a Terang on a horribly biased track, back out and wide, and still ran home in good sections. So it was nearly the run of the day for Terang, which saw him get beaten a pimple going to Sandown yesterday.
That's where it's at. That's where it's at. So like he closed good versus the card, but if you dig deeper, he closed huge versus the card because no other horse in his position on that day did what he did, even though it's a maiden. And then he goes to Sandown, and then if you're using betfair.com.au, which you should be, you can still bet through the play. I would have told you that horse was fucking gone on the turn. And you would have told me, nah, it's always in the terrain. It's still been fine. It's underwriting. First horse underwriting, but if it was not suited, back fence, and it's still almost won.
It's a really nice horse.
A really good example, like current example that you can go through and dig around its form is like Widgie Turf. So it was huge against the bias at Flemington, then it sort of went back to Wangaratta, which mightn't have been the most suitable track for it, but now it gets back to...
wasn't suited.
Yeah, and then now it gets back to Flemington 1400, and you get, like we spoke about it on part 1, everyone's now like horned up on it, and that's a really good example of a horse that's sort of like jumping out at us.
Yeah, but I'm not totally horned up on Widgie Turf.
So you need to
be able to run on.
No, like
there's every possibility that Widgie Turf is confronted with the exact same track that it was confronted with last time at Flemington. When not suited, savage the line, Charlie Sheen style.
But you get to look at those first few races, see what the bias is doing, and if the sort of stars align, then bet.
So I feel it's a really good start to this little section. Is great answers. Druzy?
Question 2 from Sean. What price range does each guest find the most success and most profitable? For example, $2.50 to $5, sub $2.50, $10 plus. Dicko?
$4 to $6. I get wobbly. The shorter I get.
Yeah, I've got a horrendous record at the short, so so I've got this 280 thing in my mind. I hate taking less than the old 7 or 4.
Yeah, but when you cut it down as an intelligent man, it's like so stupid to think like that.
You get this bias that you think you're taking short odds and they're immoral, and you have more on them and that. So I'm $280 to $6, somewhere in that range, and love catching it on the way down. Love the old $5 into 280. They don't happen as often as they used to, but you're sitting pretty if you catch one, if that's the case. But yeah. And I've been looking strong at the data in the last few months, and that's, the market is very accurate these days. It's where most of the winners come from, is obviously the top end of the market. Yeah. But there's still some chances with false favourites and things to get that $4, $5, $6 chance home. But it's hard to get roughies home these days.
Yeah, it's a tricky question. Yeah, depends sort of on the setup and lots of different things, but yeah, I can bet aggressively anywhere between sort of $3.50 and sort of tap out at $11, like what DK says. Unless you're convinced there's something that the market's completely missed, it's really hard to get. And I think you go broke quick if you try and back too many long shots. Betfair's got the best value for horses outside the market, so if you're fishing outside of say $13 or $14, you need to be betting at Betfair, or you're just giving away too much. And I've had good conversations with Dan O'Sullivan and stuff in the past, and he got me out of a bit of a bad patch. It might be 2 years ago now, but he sort of asked me where in the market you've been fishing, and I sort of told him. I said, look, majority of my winners are sort of coming $5 to sort of $15 mark, and then so I've as a consequence of that, I've sort of been. I started to bet deeper into the market, into $5 down to something like evens most of the time, but when you get down to those wobbly areas, $1.80, $2, $2.20, more of them are bets. It's sort of a not bet regret thing. So I won't be betting up on them, but it's more confirmation that you're right, you're doing the right thing, you find the right horses. So while there's I find it hard to differentiate the value, and sometimes the price might be gone, but I want to back that horse to stay confident, because I'm like, yeah, all right, that's another winner. It's sort of
100%.
It keeps ticking me over, but at the same time, I get more dark on myself if I come and have 2,000 or 3,000 on something that's really short. And like a horse the other day, I was absolutely headless, surprise baby. I found it, and I should have had a much bigger bet. I took $12 and sort of half balked at it, and fucking here it is, and it's off the map into 440. So
that's the whole point of it. It's just about your mindset and feeling good and confident. And when you're sweet, you're sweet, and when you're not. And you start to build it up again. And you'll get smashed. You get smashed with some sick results, and you'll sort of build it up again. And then you have your run, and that's when you've got to try and catch in. Like Shamwell opened up 220 at Ballarat on Monday.
I took top toe or something. I backed the winner. I went out or something. I got home. I backed something was one there. 175 or something. I ended up with. Yeah, it was 220.
Yeah, but I thought this single start like $1.60.
The general.
But I wasn't. But I don't like playing at that point of the market. At the moment, we've got the movers panels will know. Like we're getting fucking reamed. Constantly run second, smashing SP. So I don't want to get involved. Not as keen to get involved with sort of the Shamwows of the world.
Yeah.
But I should have.
Yeah.
And then so once you build up your confidence, then you.
I think your staking is probably more important than trying to go into a card with a game plan. If you don't go in with a game plan, I think you can sort of get a bit victimised or start chasing and back and hook, start betting up the wrong sort of thing. So I like a game plan.
True.
You want me to answer that question, or
just keep going? You've got a strong answer.
You're welcome to answer any and all, mate.
I would simply say on that, what you said is key. I don't think if you find your sweet spot, so be it, but bankroll is number one, and protect your bankroll at all costs. So don't bet outside what you can afford to be betting. That's the number one.
But what are we I'm talking about what price we want to bet into?
Yeah, but I'm still saying, if I'm betting at the $10 amount and I'm still betting a larger amount, there are some people have that that game plan. And what I think Scoot was saying was, you get to the end of the day, it's like, shit, it's race 8 and I'm down $500. So a lot of people will try and blast out in the last.
If you bet on a daily sort of mindset and a card mindset, then you're fucked.
Yeah. That's the first rule.
That is
there's no last race.
Yeah.
Next question is one I've just inserted. This one is for Scoot. You guys have implemented Betfair Live, which you can go to betfair.com.au and then hit the Betfair Live button. What do you look for, so specifically yourself, to try and gain a little bit of an edge from what the betting's doing late?
Yeah, so I think just the state of the market at the moment, you can see through all the corporate prices, there's not much to sort of be gained from looking at the market till about probably 5 minutes or
you can go
3 minutes before the
go and have a bet on course, any course, any day. They're all looking at Betfair.
Yeah,
this is the most important tool you can have on race day, in my opinion.
But you know, the match with, you know, what percentage of the implied chance I sort of look at on Betfair Live, and then how much percentage of the market's sort of taken up. So if there's a favourite, say like Jumbo Osaki, for example, and then all of a sudden there's 5 for 100,000 match with a minute before the off. It's sort of like, sometimes it's like a little bit reverse logic. So you'd think, oh well, there's a lot of money for that horse, but there's probably someone in there that wants to absolutely gap it. Or if you see a race on Tatura or Pakenham tonight, for example, there might be a 2's-on shot later on. If there's not a lot of money for it to be laid, and even though it's still like shortening, the horse is probably more fancied because there's no one prepared to take it on. So just be careful, because there's a couple of trick shots on there. But
have you started using it yet, Dicko?
The Betfair Live?
Yeah.
So you just need a Betfair login to use it. It's free.
Before it was like brought in, I was using dynamic with Betfair last 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That's the flux screen I wanted. Because I'm sending out the mail at 5 to 4 minutes before from the yard. Yeah. And then I'm sitting down and making all my decisions. Yeah. It's key. It's crucial.
We're going to incorporate some average odds feeds, and
it'll improve and improve.
Tote projections.
Like everything Betfair does, it's there to help you win, not actually just victimise you further like the other corporates.
But I don't know. So there's a couple of different ways, but just start looking at it. You'll start backing more winners for sure, and you'll learn when to bet in the market as well. Perfect.
Next question: biggest personal betting plunge story.
It's okay. I think you got one here.
It's not a plunge story, but it came to mind when I saw the tweet. Was that Luke, wasn't it? Luke. Best opportunity ever. So, very good mate of mine I went to school with, who may not have been in the jungle recently, said to me, this was 10 years, I looked up the horse today, he said about mid-2000s, he said, come on, we're going down to Markdale, take you down there to look track work, which is Lee Friedman's private training property down at Mornington, which is now, was it St Andrew's Brewery or something anyway. So we go down there, we have a look around the joint, meet Lee, meet Anthony, watching track work, blah, 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 and then track work finishes, now we're going to have a couple of jump outs, 3 jump outs. These are young horses, these are next horses, and all the group horses in the last one. So I watched them, and then who's in this last one? Miss Andretti was in it, California Dane, a few of the really good sprinters at the time. And so anyway, so he said, I said, Anthony, what'll happen here? He said, Miss Andretti will just towel them up like she normally does, She's getting ready for a Group 1 race at Moonee Valley next week. So we watched the jump out, watching them go around, Miss Andretti, and all of a sudden this thing went with it. Like dead set went with it. Coming to the line, I said, what the hell was that? And Lee, dead set, bounded out of the box and straight down to Froggy Newell and Miss Andretti, just asking how it went. And I heard Froggy, I was just down in front of him, and Froggy said, I couldn't hold her any slower. So I went to Corey Brown and his other thing, and he said, oh mate, this flew. So I said, find out what that other thing is anyway. We found it out it was a horse called Universal Queen, which they had just got from Bede Murray for its first prep down here from New South Wales. So keep that in your, lock that in your mind, so I want to be on it when it's in. So anyway, next Friday, or it might have been a Saturday, the Lightning was run at Moonee Valley that year. So Miss Andretti was in the Lightning in race 6, and this Universal Queen was in the Vanity, which was race 7. So I'm trying to round up cash. There's a chance here. These chances don't come along very often, and as it happens, it's the only chance in the last 20 years like this. So round up cash. So anyway, Miss Andretti shits in their Lightning, like pisses in at 3:20, race 6. So he just makes everything. So I've got 1,500 together in my pocket. I'm working with bookies. So I'm standing there, I'm working with Anthony Dowdy or something, and Bill Graham goes up first, he goes up $7, and Rod Cleary then goes up $7 alongside him, and I saw a commission agent who'd be handling some hot money charge at Bill Graham. So I leaned over to the other baggie at Rod Cleary's and I said, "I'll give us 1,000 on this for you." And he said, "I'll give you 500 on it, it's a bit rich, you know, the second was so sweet." "All right, 500 on it." Anyway, so I went down to race 20 when it was $5 or something and had the other 1,000 on. And then big punters, all the heavies, when it was getting close to SP, the big blokes at that time, a couple of them in jail now, but people know who they are, start with a P, they'll bet, then they get 50,000 on it and things like that, with the big bookies like Frank Hudson and Bill Graham would bet them anything at the death. So it was $7 to $3.70 and it pissed him. So I had all this cash and how was this caper, you know?
How long did cash last?
That was all right. I was single.
Where did you go that night? Was it night meeting?
King Street. Need I say anymore? Big night. You spend $1,000 on a night out back then, you know. You had dinner, buy drinks, by King Street, by casino, you know. It's,
going out proper.
They're going out proper, but and I had no extras then. I was a single bloke and working away, but just from that one little gig down there, just seeing that thing go with Miss Andretti's and hello. So I thought that was a good. I thought when I saw that, that made me think of that. Yeah,
that's fucking outstanding. It makes it pretty hard to go after that.
Yeah, it's a real tough one. You think about a couple of the big wins and stuff that you had, and I just remember when I was 24, I was working for a stable up in Queensland.
15 years ago.
Sorry? Yeah, fuck 11 years ago. So I was 24 at the time, and I thought I was going to be a racehorse trainer anyway. I was working for a guy, Stewie McKinnon, and Damien Brown was the stable jockey, and Rachel Mason, and they were good fellas, and good crew, and the Kiwis up there, and I was with Stewie for about 18 months or something like that. And the 4 a.m. jobs sort of it's not really how I live my lifestyle. So I took a dim view to that, and the whole reason I went up to Queensland because I can't handle the cold. But there was this horse they had Pravana at the time, which is not a bad horse, and anyway, long story short, there was this great horse. There's a Quest for Fame, beautiful looking horse and great natured horse I used to look after, and you wouldn't believe it. And this is why I've got the Racing Australia horse search up, and my nickname's Scoot, and this horse was Scoot. Anyway, it sort of come from Gerald Ryan or something at Wyong, and it had some dramas and some issues, and we knew this horse was a fucking jet. And I just used to go into this horse and scratch its ass and look after it and feed it and sort of hang around it, and it was just the biggest cruiser of a horse. Anyway, Stewie was just like, this horse goes like the shower shit. Fucking Brownie'd been riding it, and we'd been hiding it from everyone, and dead set. So it's the first up from the Sunshine Coast after it's been around, Wyong and stuff. They've put up 550, and I remember just going to the Sunshine Coast races, and I used to work, say, like Monday through to Saturdays in the stables, and I used to just go bet on Sundays to survive. I was on like $400 cash a week, and I was just backing winners to try and make a go of it, not take the paint off the wall. Anyway, so this horse Scoot, it's they put up 550. It's SP'd $3 or $3.20 or something like that, and you can see it here. And it's come out and won by fucking 5 lengths with Jim Byrne.
Yeah, good.
And I dead set. I got all the money out of my account, just fucking absolutely drained out. I rang the boys back home in Melbourne. I said, "You guys have just got to get on this." I'm like, Dad, my dad's nickname Scoot. I'm like, "This is the best thing ever. You just wait and see." And it was the fucking most pain-free win ever. Big Sunshine Coast track. And this thing just fucking bounded away by 5 weeks. It was a beauty, but we sort of talk about, Jill and I spoke about shocking at 30s the night before the sub, and I can remember when I was a kid when Mackay won the third cup. I think she still was $5 that day. I remember that day. I basically, and this is how big a victim I am. I put all the money I had, and just backed up. Like I just couldn't believe the price, which is I was probably naive at the time.
You do it on a champion.
Fuck I know. So
no, I haven't got any.
Every day.
It's nothing yet, mate. It's still, we've got plenty of time.
You'll feel like going in the baby drops in a month or so.
I had a huge written Byron on the Blue Diamond.
There you go. You did too, yeah.
I really liked it.
36s, didn't you?
I really liked it the way it walked and looked at Sandown, a shitty race. And I corrupted a whole football club actually with my old man. I convinced my old man to buy a horse off Australian Bloodstock, this German thing, Lips Arios.
Lips Arios.
It's already dead. Anyway, first up, Andreas at Ballarat. Then I was the captain coach of this footy club, and I also organised a footy trip. We went down to Berry, down there in New South Wales, and took them all to the pub on Sunday, all the boys.
Nothing better.
Just
tipping a winner and betting and everyone.
Just like
How good is it?
Feeding the
best.
tab portal.
Group
The
raw,
levels 50s, and we'll. This is 3 or 4 nights in, like bent. And there's only like 250, but it started
Doesn't
like
matter. I just want to win.
So just get as much as you
Cash.
can, and all the young boys will be like, nah, not betting, nah. Like 18-year-olds, and they just see how much we're putting in. Oh fuck, what do I have a bid on? Brendan Abdullah came down and wrote it, and just fucking pissed him.
Lovely.
It was outstanding because we were all sort of spending way beyond our means on the footy, like on the trip.
So need
Just
an
like
injection.
Sunday, we only had 2 nights to go and we were in front. Like, it was outstanding. But nothing as good as you two.
We got 365 with a mates account. A bloke just come around and started watching the races on a Saturday arvo, and 365 left the prices up in that 1350 race before the JJ Atkins, and they've left up like $26 or I think for Sacred Elixir. I said to Omar, I said, mate, you don't have an account here, do you? He goes, yeah, fuck, just the matter I do. I said, mate, these fuckers haven't moved the price. This thing should start favourite. And so we've just piled on as much as we can. I think we got on to win about 30,000 before they knocked the price off. So there's 2 of us. There's 3 of us in total, and we've just divvied up the cash. And I said, mate, this is your fucking lucky day. You just turned up at the fucking right time, and this is just the perfect storm. He shit himself. Like, he usually bets in hundreds. I said, mate, just keep fucking feeding in until they turn it off. Mate, I've got the video. I'll try and dig the video out, or he's got the video on our phone. It's fucking classic.
Very good.
And so 3 or 4 weeks later, whatever it was, we're there fucking cheering, roaring on, carrying on like a fucking turkey. And it was the best. It was great because he's never won like 10 grand or anything like that on the front.
It's
And
bad,
everyone's like, yeah,
it's good though. I now have like 22 blokes who every time we go to races,
Looking for a tip.
pester the
Think
fuck out of me. You can't make races. Like, can't have a coach for
Set a bad precedent.
Shouldn't say that word. Anyway,
Drew, any more?
I'd just quickly add in my 2 best solution. No, doesn't need to be said. The best rort, I'm going to call it a rort, was the first season of the AFLW. No one at the bookies had read the rules of what was going to happen and understood what was going to happen with the scoring. So they've opened the lines for over/under at 100 points.
Oh, they don't realise how short the games are.
And the first 3 games were like 30 or 40 points in all of them. So there was 4 games that first week. My mate put me onto this, and they took about 20 to 30k out of 365 on this in a multi.
Lovely.
They put like a grand in, and like it was 4 folds and 3 folds and 2 folds and stuff. And it was just after the first game, they were getting a 99% cash out, like because they had moved the lines in so much after the first game, they'd realised, well, we fucked up here.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that.
I love that.
I was playing footy in Sydney, and the centre bet were betting. They were offering odds on the Sydney Footy League. It's just like wrong to do.
Yeah.
Wrong.
It's a beauty when you get, like, when we were in the BetStar days, we took $126 Bernard pair in the Australian Open to beat Harry Shitbags, and they'd put the 126 up when they should have been like 350 or something in the set score or how the game was going to play out. That was another job. Fucking just run and get as much money on as you can. And I think we got 15,000 out of that. So that was a fucking beauty.
What else we got? How long have we been going for?
You just got to find as much cash as you can and just keep pouring.
It's still going okay. Nathan from Twitter. What holds more weight when you're previewing upcoming races, replays, or data?
We've probably done that.
Yeah,
probably
So it's a blend.
Yep. Ed. It's kind of the same question. I'm just going to skip that one, Ed. We kind of just answered that one, I'll say. I'm just going to go down to Rick. Thoughts on current bookmakers, poor odds, and a solution to getting punters a better go of it?
There's no movement there with the pop tax. It's just getting harder and harder. So
it's not my job. My job's just to like find winners from the yard.
We can't worry about it.
This is sort of my job. We're really lucky to have someone like Richard Irvine who's passionate about lobbying governments and trying to keep the game and turnover afloat, which is great. I think he's the reason why there's the minimum bet rule. I think all of a sudden with the consolidation and POC tax, the 9am price movements are irrelevant. There's guys getting on for small amounts, knocking the early markets off when they first go up, and then there's some after scratchings.
The biggest problem
after scratchings, there's a lot of grubbery there.
It's not even a proper
before
market
before
though.
9 o'clock.
If they just say they've got to let you on to win 500 or something, something small, but they say we're going up on Saturday or we're going up for Warrnambool on Thursday at this point in time. It's like a time, so that DK and I can go. All right, we've got to be ready by now. I'm there at Sandown trying to bet on what they want me to bet on I'm encouraging people to bet on their product, which funds the fucking industry.
Yeah.
And then they go up for race 4 at Flemington, but they haven't gone up for race 3 at Moonee Valley. Like, it's just you got to have like eyes and ears everywhere. You got to have dynamic to get the price alerts.
Yeah.
That's the only chance you got. And my phone will go in and out of telling me that I've got an email.
I did the maiden at Bourneville today. I didn't know when I wasn't putting the race as Paddy Paynell's as I did the race. I thought, oh, this is rather fantastic. This might be a chance at odds, isn't it? Blah, blah. And then I go to the market, 650 into 280, already. And that was like by 9 o'clock. I did the race like from 8:30 till 8:45. It's 29. Like,
it's not sweet.
The
anyway,
I've tried to bet later and later, and you try and show your hand later and later because you have to, because you get cut off everywhere and it's a pain in the ass or whatever. And the prices are gone, so you miss that. But the prices are really stagnant. There's more percentage in the market until that last 3 minutes, which is shit house because nothing happens, and it doesn't stimulate any sort of turnover. And then, having said all that, the new edge seems to be the most organised, and this is something I spoke to DK about, and they're just creating like the most organised like people. The TV staff are actually doing probably nearly too good a job. They're sort of knocking off horses' prices.
Because it's on their roster to do the form.
Yeah,
they're organised.
They're getting fucking paid and they're competent.
That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be ready to go. I'm going to have the form done the next day by 5 p.m.
Yeah,
we're not big. I'm not a big punter, so
we can get on to an extent, but also
you can't get on to 365. You can get on the other joint because they want you to knock their markets into shape.
And joints like puntingform.com.au provide an outstanding service that's not hard to use. And it's not hard to see, and you watch our show or someone else's show, or you start to get a clue and you go, that horse, look, that was good.
Racing,
Mark that, boom, comes up, $7 into force.
Racing and governments are sort of creating their own sort of problems. It's just going to get more and more appealing to bet on other stuff. And lots of guys that I speak to are going to start betting more on AFL. Like, it's a 2.5% product on Betfair. I'm going to be betting more on it this year.
2.5%,
everyone knows that the teams come out on Thursday. You're going to be less trick shots. It's a very cheap product to play, and you'll get a bigger bang for your money over the long run. You'll stay in the game longer. So
it is the best in-play market to bet into as well.
Yeah, the AFL.
It is ridiculously good if you find your edge.
We're just watching Flemington race. Oh, sorry, Pakenham race.
Punksy's going to miss the place.
Hamslet, please God.
You guys are sick.
You're fucking kidding me.
Cindy. Is it? Cindy's flying at the moment.
I've torched that.
She looks good, Cindy.
That much there.
She's
I'll just keep going and going.
First up.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, Richard and I and our commercial team in at Betfair, we're lobbying as hard as we can. Richard's sort of doing a bit of Australia-wide tour, and we're just going to keep pouring pressure on the government and the racing industries. Victorian racing work really well with us. We struggle with New South Wales, obviously, but we'll sort of just keep fighting it. But racing sort of just got to wake up, because the appeal to bet on sport is getting bigger and better. And then places like Hong Kong, and I can see sort of Asia being the future racing. More people like DK. I can see DK in the future sort of like betting more in Hong Kong. He's only got 2 meetings a week that he has to worry about getting on. You can get on for as much as you want.
Why
the prices? The prices don't matter. Because
I'm the only person on this show that needs to fucking go to the races to bet.
Well, you can't make money.
Because I watch them parade.
Oh, you got to watch them parade, yeah.
Like, you could be fucking betting and fucking.
I'm looking, mate. That's why I'm doing this data stuff. I showed Nick the other day.
If they don't sort this shit out, they're all gone.
They're
gone. You fucking idiots. They're going to start betting. You know what starts tonight? NRL.
Yeah.
No, we're not betting there because they've got Delaney's.
Still, it's just an example of like the content that's out there. AFL starts next week.
I don't realise, mate. They don't care.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. So
Delaney's doesn't care.
Anything else, Drew? That's probably...
Quick, funny one from Matt. Dicko, will your firstborn have the middle name of Chop King if it's a boy, or Kathy if it's a girl?
I had a crack at Chop.
Oh.
She brushed it heavy. I said, what about Chop?
I said, there was a jockey in Hong Kong called Wei Chong Ma Wing, right? He used to ride Hong Kong Macau, and I said, how about we name our son Wei Chong? Love that name. Oh, mate, my missus nearly.
Yes, I said, what about Chop?
You've got to let them...
She was trying to do it. She said,
Chop.
Choppy. Chop King.
Chop King, yeah. No, you let them go.
You sort of got to let them on, don't you?
You're not going to get it through unless the missus ticks it off, so let them worry about that. They put a lot of work into the missus.
And it wouldn't be Kathy, it'd be Michelle.
And when our daughter was born, we still But we hadn't the name for 4 hours. We're still arguing about it. But then we sort of came up with an answer.
I'm just pretending.
Well, she came up with an answer.
I'm just pretending it's not happening for a while. But then, like putting together the pram last night, it's like, oh shit.
Right.
And then I'll get that sort of. Like,
that was just.
Well, when's she due?
May, middle of May.
Oh,
Bull.
Perfect, mate. After bull, but my daughter was born 16th of May, so I was up. I did the night feeds and stuff, watching the British Open.
Oh, yeah.
2016 is
That's
Olympics.
Yeah,
both of them
Royal
born in Olympics year, right? Got so you're sitting up on the couch, following the thing, watching, working away, punting away on the.
Fucking ground.
Oh yeah, timing's good. That's a good time.
You're right, Dale. You stay in bed. I'll go get it.
Just on that.
Have you organised the cleaning lady yet?
Yeah, I've already.
Cleaning lady. You've got to get the cleaning lady.
I already have one Porsche.
Oh, good.
What was
Helps the missus out.
Last question to finish the card. Oh, sorry, Scoot, you want to say
What was the question?
No, sorry.
Last question. I've
on.
got to piss bad.
Yeah,
Usual,
yeah, as usual. Last question from Reese. For a small-time punter wanting to make it in the big leagues, what words of wisdom advice do you have?
Never force a bet. Never force a bet. Buy my products. I've got to go.
I'd say
never force a bet's rule number one.
Specialise in specialise in the country. Specialise in.
Find your edge and exploit it.
If it's Port Lincoln races, and find a little edge there that you think works.
But never force it.
You've got to specialise. You can't play against the big fish will eat you.
You miss the
a lot
price,
of sharks
let
out
it
there.
go.
I'll get you.
Yeah, you miss the price, don't chase it down. Unless you wanted to chase it down, like.
I'd say my tip's always specialise.
The market keeps moving, so you just can't be too rigid. There's a section on the Betfair Hub called Better Betting. There's like basic principles, psychology of betting, getting the right sort of headspace.
Read all those articles. That articles are terrific. Jack Hooton. I had one recently with that data bias one that came out, and I was just suffering from data bias myself, and it just helped clear my head and say,
Business of Betting podcast, you listen to that stuff. It puts you might pick up, like, you listen to an hour's worth of the podcast, and you might pick up one thing or two things that go, oh fuck, that makes sense. Like when you were on the show, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That, look, you can relate to that. You can use that little bit of it.
You'll just take little bits of everything.
Yeah.
We were lucky we had the punter show round a few years ago with Mark Lambourne, and those which still got racing around. But you just take little bits of everything and just find what fits your own. It's got to fit your own staking. It's got to fit your own risk. You know, you're a big punter, a small punter. Just find what works.
Anyway, that'll do us, yeah?
All right.
Been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming down. Really appreciate it.
Sorry, Dicko.